When it comes to video games, few things are more important than story or gameplay. These are key elements to the experience, so while a game doesn't need to be outstanding in both of these categories to be acclaimed, many of the greatest games of all time usually have either a memorable narrative or outstanding mechanics. But what happens when a game excels by not only providing both of these, but also connecting the two to show cohesion across the game, regardless of whether you're fighting an enemy or watching a cutscene? A game that does this very well is Xenoblade Chronicles. In this game, the protagonist, Shulk, discovers he can see brief predictions of the future that can display both positive or negative results. This vision mechanic is where the connection between plot and gameplay lies most, and I'd even say it exists for the sole purpose of solidifying the game's themes. Although Xenoblade tackles a lot of subjects, the passage of fate and your ability, or inability, to change it is a more prominent one. In the actual combat system, visions akin to the ones in cutscenes will appear. If an enemy is about to perform a powerful or even lethal attack, the party will be warned and have a few seconds to stop the outcome. Since this mechanic is shared between both scripted events and regular battles, encounters with even basic enemies can mirror the experiences the party has in major plot points. Allow me to give an example. Early in the game, Shulk is fighting a mechanical being dubbed Metal Face. He's losing the battle when his friend, Fiora, comes to his rescue. As Fiora fights Metal Face, Shulk sees a vision of her being hurled against the side of a building and then impaled. He attempts to warn her, but he is wounded and can't move to her aid. Shulk is powerless to save his childhood friend, and is forced to watch her die in front of him. Compare this to any battle with a common enemy where the death of a party member is foreseen, but the player does not have any available options to remedy the situation. Of course, being incapacitated in a random fight is much less consequential than a character permanently dying in the story, but both convey the theme of being enslaved to fate. Another example of this is when Shulk foresees his companion, Atharon, sacrificing himself to reclaim his captured colony. Shulk keeps this to himself for a while, not wanting to burden his friends with this knowledge, but Ryan notices the change in his demeanor. Ryan makes it clear that these challenges cannot be faced alone, prompting Shulk to explain the situation. Later, with the help of Shulk and his friends, Atharon succeeds despite his predicted demise. Once again, this is reflected in gameplay. Think back to the visions you witness in battle. With quick thinking and a bit of luck, these warnings can be overcome. A lot of the time, the person you are controlling won't be able to react to the attack with their own abilities, so you must rely on others to help you. This is similar to the cutscene because it illustrates camaraderie and a sense of dependency, and it is helped in no small part by the battle dialogue. Quotes like,
"I ain't letting that happen,"
and
"I will crush any future we don't want,"
make these situations much more personal and even emotional, despite the fact you're likely battling just another random Brog or Rogel. I mostly talked about larger themes and messages, but there are more specific examples of consistency. One such instance is when fighting Telethia. You first encounter them in cutscenes where Shulk gets destroyed because he relies too much on his visions, only to discover Telethia can read his mind and adapt to his actions before he even knows what he's going to do.
From the left? Then I'll go. Huh? It can't be! I saw its movements before it struck! How can it...
The gameplay parallel of this is that, while Telethia's attacks can be foreseen, the predicted attack will change at the last second, making it impossible to react to. What's more is that Telethia have a buff that will make most physical attacks miss until it is removed, and this aura can only be countered by using Monado Purge, which is also what is used to nullify the Telethia in the aforementioned cutscene. The harmony that these instances create is one of the reasons this game is a step above the rest, not only in the JRPG genre, but for the medium of video games as a whole. It acts as a model for the rest of the industry because it is one of the few games that allows gameplay to enhance its narrative. Many RPGs are content with having the gameplay exist separately, to the point where its story would work just as well as a book or movie, but Xenoblade utilizes its interactivity to fortify its message, regardless if your hands are on or off the controller. This is why it simply wouldn't work as any other form of art. Unity is the only word I can think of to describe this ingenuity, and I can only hope more games put more effort towards making every aspect of its game function together.